Hello, welcome back to another episode of Andy Drinks Beer, the show where Andy drinks beer in his garage in like a coat and a hoodie now because it's Minnesota winter is upon us. But yeah, nothing more Minnesotan than a beer called Lakemaid beer brewed right here in the great city of Minneapolis on top of a empty bucket of Sweet Martha's cookies. Yeah, that's very on brand. It's a American style craft lager. It's a 4.5% ABV. I couldn't find the IBUs, but because of the low ABV and just going with the ale style, it's going to be pretty smooth drinking. So the first of our three criteria is this crushable or a sipper. Someone tells me this is going to be leaning towards crushable here. So a nice golden color, slightly on the darker amber side, and I mean, this just smells like beer. Straight up beer. Like when your dad and grandpa, would always just have beer around. Like mine would have. I was pretty convinced that they bought crappy beer just so I wouldn't drink it. So they had Busch Light, and although Busch Light's not bad. I can't knock that. I'm from rural Minnesota. Who am I to talk about bad beer? Special X. Oh, and Ham's Light. Although Ham's Light is a godsend. Ham's Light is manna from heaven. So I just completely negated my point, but whatever. So let's try a little sippy of Lakemaid beer. Lakemaid beer. It sounds like a fake company, like it would be from Grumpy Old Men. Yeah, like Burgess Meredith's like, pick me up a six there, Lakemaid. Let's try some. So it's a lot more complex than you expect. It still sticks on the crushable side, but it's sweet. It's got a lot more depth than you would think. So it's a good combination of just good straight up American easy drinking beer, but also a little something going on there. Also, they're famous for their bottle cap game. As I drop it, half-pound trout. 1.5 pound trout. So not exactly crushing it in the giant fish department, but what can you do? So what's the top? A 20 pound walleye, 22 pound walleye? That's monstrous, isn't it? I mean, that's wild stuff there, man. Yeah. So this is like just a really good beer, especially cold weather. And once it gets colder here in the great state of Minnesota, all the guys who at the local bar got their normal seat, and the guys who are crushing like light beers during the warmer months, all of a sudden winter comes along and it's okay to pack on a few pounds. So going slightly heavier, although it's at 4.5%, it's still pretty low alcohol content. So you get the flavor, you don't have as many calories, but still. It's just a good balance. I like it. And I wonder where the sweetness comes from. I'm a big fan of sweet notes in beer. Not like I'm not talking like juice box. I'm not talking about like Leinenkugel's Berry Weiss, not something like that, but just like subtle, not like candy sweet, just like. It flows well. Like that was one of the really big things of Spotted Cow, where you get a touch of sweet corn in it in the finish, which is really nice. And in this, you get that too. You get the the nice wholesome American lager style taste, and it really surprised me. It did, because I was thinking like this is just going to be straight up easy drinking, not complex, no nonsense type beer, but. It's got something going here. Like honestly, you could pour this for a beer snob, and then they'd be like, "Oh, this is a very special microbrew from La La La." It's like, no, this is a straightforward Minnesota beer, son, and it's fantastic. Also, I want to know who the model for the beer is, because. Oh, sorry. This is actually Stephen's point. Close enough. So the model is a very attractive blonde, but then you get like the fish half, and it's like, after a couple of beers, I mean, especially if you're lonely, maybe the wife left you, and then all of a sudden you're like, she's looking pretty good. Don't even care that the second half is a trout. Yeah, it's all good. So second number 3 criteria, what food would pair well with this? Well, since we're going with the divorcee route, like anything like super salty, and not like salty like a lot of kosher salt or a lot of Himalayan pink sea salt, a lot of like just preservatives and stuff. Like we're talking about Hungry Man microwavable meals. Like that is the official meal of single 50-year-old men everywhere. And yeah, since they're going right up in this demographic, I think that's a pretty easy putt as well. Last but not least, our rating scale on scale of 1 to 10 Reuben Stuttards, 10 being the best, 1 being Reuben Studdard. How does Lakemaid beer stack up? I'm gonna go with a solid 8.5. 8.5 for Lakemaid beer. Love the complexity of flavor. Love that it's pretty low alcohol content, 4.5%. So yeah, it's gonna be crushing a little bit. And overall, it's a very good. We'll go good beer. So we'll like that. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Give us a like on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. All at Andy Carlson Show. Prost.